across the street, we're going to bring in Tony Daunt, who is our neighbor here, Executive Director of the Michigan Freedom Fund. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Good morning to you and to Dennis.
Hello, Tony. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Could be an interesting day for both of you and for all of us, really, as legislators, Tony, are expected to vote on the repeal of the prevailing wage law today.
Indeed, they are. The House posted on their agenda yesterday afternoon or yesterday evening that they're taking it through passage, and we, of course, are supportive of that and expect both the House and the Senate to move forward.
You issued a plea yesterday. Maybe it's not a plea, it's a request to people to contact their legislators yesterday and this morning, I suppose, too, to encourage them to vote yes on the repeal based on the ballot signatures that you've collected.
We did. Yep. We're very proud of the work that we do with the grassroots across the state. And when big issues come up that we support, we tend to put out action alerts and ask people to contact their legislators. Sometimes ask them to contact the governor, depending on the issue and depending on where the process sits. And we're generally pretty successful with that. And we'll take anybody who's listening here, if you feel the urge to call your state House member or state senator and let them know to vote yes. We'd greatly appreciate that.
Dennis, Muchmore, speaking of support, the governor hasn't actively lobbied against this effort, although he did say if it had come to him earlier, he would have vetoed it.
I think so.
Why?
I believe in his thrust has always been to increase the potential that the trades and the jobs in the trades are considered professional positions, and that the more training you have and the higher expertise you have in those trades, the more you should basically be paid because of the training you get. So that's always been his thrust, and I think that's where he's been coming from.
He does not have veto power this time around.
No,
and Tony Daunt, just for the heck of it, if you were sitting with the governor, how would you answer that?
If I was sitting with the governor on that issue, I would simply say, I have great respect for Dennis and for the governor, obviously, for everything that they did getting the state back on track. But on this one, just like anything with the Freedom Fund and the folks that we work with and encourage through the grassroots, we believe in the free market. And I believe that people should be paid what the market bears. And unfortunately, with prevailing wage mandates, it's not the market. It's a amalgamation of a bunch of different union rates across the state. And we think that the market should set the rates and people will be paid what it will bear, in particular when it's taxpayer dollars.
Dennis, is it possible that the prevailing wage law has artificially inflated construction costs? And if so, are we paying for that as taxpayers?
Well, I don't know whether it's artificially inflated. I think that there's a difference, obviously, in the scales between certain areas of the state. Part of that's the fact that a lot of these companies in certain areas of the state are union companies and a lot in other areas are not. I think that has a basic differential. And it's always been the challenge for the non-union companies to prove that their workers have the same skill sets as some of the trades do. I think there are parts of the trades that are exceptional apprenticeship programs, and there are parts of non-union companies that do great job in putting together the right workforce to build buildings. So it's always been a struggle, and it's been going on for 60 years, I think, or 50 years at least, between those forces on this prevailing wage law. And it's probably good one way or another to get it resolved.
Tony Daunt, you agree?
Well, I agree. It's good to get it resolved. Let's say that.
Is there any reason to think that the quality will suffer?
No, not at all. There are different regulations, rules, laws that apply to all construction workers, whether they're union or non-union, and especially when they're building public buildings like township halls or schools, community college buildings, et cetera. And those apply to everyone universally and equally. And, when folks, if we're worried about quality, I sometimes ask people, you go into an apartment building, you go to a friend's house, or you go to, let's say a private hospital that was built by private contractors. Are you worried about it collapsing in around on your head? No. And that's because we understand that there are standards in place, and we shouldn't be paying more artificially for construction just because it's a government job.
And Dennis, there are plenty of competitive bidding going on in other parts of state government.
I
right?
think so too. And Tony's, Tony's points are well taken, and they always are because it's Tony. I mean, he's a smart guy, and so yeah. But I don't think it's any secret to anybody that I've always believed in the trades, and I believe in apprenticeships, and I believe in the training that goes on in those apprenticeship programs, whether it's the carpenters, the IBEW, or the operating engineers. I've always believed that those training programs are exceptional and beyond what an apprentice would gain in some other setting. But that's just a difference of opinion.
And it's not as if just 20 seconds left, Tony. Those groups are going to be eliminated from bidding and certainly from getting the work.
That's exactly right. It's not it's in many ways it's like right to work. It's not meant to eliminate unions or to eliminate the ability for them to organize or operate. It's just giving people the choice on what they want to do and what they want to pay.
Will likely be passed today. Tony Daunt, you can find him with the Michigan Freedom Fund. Dennis Muchmore, find him right here and at the Honigman firm. It's Michael Patrick Shiels right across from the Capitol with our eyes on the prize.